Trade 7-11, the deuce and the nine. Hoover, hey people, look, this is the first under the groove, man, and I'm honored to be doing this, man. Hopefully, man, you guys feel the same way, that you appreciate, you know what I'm saying, what's been put into this platform in terms of how we share and disseminate our lives. You know what I mean? A lot of the history, man, and we'll talk about this. A lot of the history, a lot of people are not satisfied with, because I understand how the get out go. uh, Sad to say, a lot of it is based on negativity. You know what I mean? We came into this and we said we not with that program. You know what I mean? The square we on is the square we're gonna stay on. We're not with the reactionary stuff or the negative stuff. We here, you know what I'm saying, to share, stories about individuals, man, that came up, man, the way they came up and are still here to tell their story, man. That in itself is a blessing. These are fortunate individuals, man, because there are a lot that did make it this far. Under the groove, man, like I said, man, we're honored, man, to be doing this for the first time, man. So we want to send shots out to everybody, man, who's been a part of this get down since day one. Um, it's been a privilege, man. It's been a privilege, man, to be able to sit here, man, and be, the voice, you know what I'm saying, for so many. So that said, man, let's get into this, man. I've got a lot I've got a lot of chats, man, just to begin, man. And I don't, this is new to me, but it's all good. I don't know where to begin, but I'll start here, man. Under the groove, man, for a lot who don't know, it started as a result of an individual, man, outside of the sector, man. He wanted to, do exposés on loved ones who are no longer with us. We saw that as, a violation. You know what I mean? We thought that that was inappropriate. As a result, instead of just complaining about it, as a result, I sat with a couple of heads. I said, man, this is an idea I think we should do, man, just to protect our history, man, tell the stories of our individuals who are no longer here with us to tell them themselves. And that's how Under the Groove got started. The name Under the Groove, though, totally different. Uh, I was with a little cousin of mine, and I was like, man, we brainstorming. How do we get this shit started, man? What's the name of the podcast? We playing a lot of funk music at the time, and Funk that came on One Nation Under the Groove, but he said, man, that I think Under the Groove. I said, yeah, Under the Groove sound tight. That's the shit, And we groove with that. And I think it's appropriate. It works for us. You know what I mean? As Hoovers, it worked for us. What does it mean to me? Or to any of you who are part of this get down, man? Under the groove, I think it's a vibe, like I said, man, early on, some of my earlier videos, I said it's a vibe, man. The groove is a vibe, man. And you gotta feel it. You gotta know it. You gotta be a part of it. Got to be a part of you. It gotta be in you. Can't be on you. So under the groove, man, means what groove are you under? It could be whatever you choose it to be. Your groove could be, you know what I'm saying? It could be positive. It could be negative, man. It could be a whole lot of things, man. But I'll tell you what, when you're talking about being under a groove, you're talking about some uplifting shit. You're talking about grooving. That's it. That's all, man. You got to really think about that. You're talking about grooving, doing some shit, man, that others ain't doing. Doing some shit, sticking to this frame of mind, man. This get out, man. This vibe that you don't see regularly. And that's the difference between us and a lot of other individuals. We have a specific groove, and it's unmatched. So that's all through the age. You know what I'm saying? How we groove is how we groove, man. And that's not to disparage anybody else. But so that came about, the individual, and we cool. This individual that did that, we're cool now. I spoke to this brother, man. I've hung out with this brother, and I have a lot of respect for him. You know what I mean? It just let me say something. This podcast and shit, it ain't easy. It ain't easy, man. Especially when you pushing positivity. If I was doing that reactionary shit and we talk about who we, all that bullshit that go with that, man, I'm 500,000, 600 million views, subscribers, man, but we ain't pushing like that. But this individual, man, like I say, he's a good dude, man. My hat is off to him and shit. You know what I'm saying? Much respect, man. I love to hang out with him again, just to chop it up, brainstorm, you know what I'm saying? Get a feel of this brother. It's not just him, a few others, man. I salute Milt. You know what I mean? Like, these guys are in their own lane. This is what they do, man. I respect that. You know what I mean? My boy OG Bam, that's the homie, man. That's the homie, man. He know it and I know it. Hats off to T-Rail and Smack, them the homeboys, man. Do what you do, man. But anyway, this came about because of that, as a result, the result is greater than what I thought it would be. I was coming into this thinking, man, I just want to stop that. You know what I'm saying? I didn't look at it as, okay, I'm gonna stop that and then we're gonna keep on grooving, man. We're gonna do that. That's not how I came into it, but that's how it is now. You know what I mean? That's how we grooving now. So under the groove, man, it's etched in stone. You know what I mean? We are here, you know what I'm saying? And we're gonna do the damn thing. That's one thing I want to talk about, man, how we came to be, where the name came from, and what does it actually mean, So a lot of you out there, you attach whatever you want to attach to what your groove is. You know what I mean? Under the groove, man, it means something. What's under your groove? Think about that. What's under your groove? What makes you groove, man? What makes you move? Or what the case may be. Uh, yeah, the Hoovers always been savages in the streets, LA, man. Yeah, there's a whole lot, man, attached to that, man. I'm looking at this there. There's a few schools of thought where I've heard it said, if it ain't Scandalous, it ain't Hoover. I've never said that. I know a whole lot of Hoovers. We don't function under that mindset, but we know that there are a whole lot of Hoovers that do. Um, that one there, right there, though, nah, that ain't nothing or something we pushed or we advocated. Being scandalous. You know what I mean? I'm gonna get into this because like I said, this is new, but I'm excited about it, man. What is your story, Bub? How and when did you hop off the porch? I know you, man. PTHV, I know you. You've been up in this with us, man, since day one, man. And I've been trying to tell you for a long time, homie. Uh, I came into this, man, as a Hoover Crip, straight up. To this day, I'm a Hoover Crip. What? Not actively. You know what I mean? Those who know. But that's what it was, man. We came off the porch in about 1977, man. And I ran with a lot of good dudes, a lot who aren't here with us, man. And I want to send respects out to a whole lot of them. Art, Weedy, Tookum, K-Mac, little Tim, Big Timmy, a lot of dudes, Fudd, they not here no more, man. But these are guys I knew. When I came off the porch, I came off in such a way. A lot of you dudes tell stories. Y'all came into with the business here. Man, we came out the porch. Mother was trying to get us. You know what I mean? We was fighting left and right, man. We was avoiding all kind of shit and people just to survive to the next day. Coming off the porch was an experience, man. I haven't forgot any of what I've been through. All the lessons along the way, man, I carry with me to this day. Again, like I say, it was 77, man. Me and my brother, man, we come off the porch, man. We didn't come off game banging, though. And that's the thing, when I ask that question, a lot of individuals, what brought you off the porch? A lot of dudes have varying, statements or stories in terms of what got them off of the front porch. For us, it was skates, man, skateboards, mini bikes and pigeons. That's what got us off the front porch, man. And as a result of that, we in the meeting, running into people, coming into contact with people who were saying things who, probably had a little more street knowledge or whatever the case may be in that enticed us. You know what I mean? We come from a family, man, shit, we were poor, we were dirt poor, you know. Um, that didn't stop our mom from raising us a certain way, I have a lot of principles that are still standards and principles that I exercise this day that I got from my mom. I haven't forgotten those things, you know what I mean? Uh, that happened, man. A whole lot of that shit went down. We got in them streets, man, and shit, man. A lot of suffering, man, a lot of pain, man. But I have to say, I have memories, man, that are gold, man. They're gold, man. I mean, gems from individuals I met along the way, man. Like I said, a lot of them ain't here. I miss them. I appreciate the fact that I'm here and I can say right now, those dudes, they were some good dudes. They were some good dudes. Had they lived, they know telling what their potential would have turned out to be, who they be today. See, I'm a testament, man. to the fact that, if you're here, man, and you went through some shit, but you're here, and anything is doable, man. You can accomplish a whole lot. And I've accomplished a whole lot. I was a lifer, the streets, man, gang banging got me a life sentence. Um, I made it up out of that. You know what I mean? I made it up out of that. In fact, a lot of people don't know I'm not supposed to be home but I did legal work. I did a whole lot of shit that I needed to do to make sure I didn't die there. And that was my motive, was to get out, to not die in prison. You know, um, I'm living now. I'm living my best life. This shit is crazy, man. I've been home 9 years. I haven't seen the streets since I was 13, 12. I haven't been on the streets for 9 years since I was 12 years old. You know what I mean? So this, for me, man, I'm telling you, it's an accomplishment. It's greater than a mouse, man. I'm around people. I surround myself with people that have love for themselves and love for me. That's how we get out. Um, that's not to say I don't rub elbows with certain individuals. I do, man. But we do is that, you met out how function with people. You know what I mean? If people who aren't on a certain get down, a certain, mindset, a groove, you let them do how they do. You meet them people, where they at. And hey, man, then you going about your business. So that's what it's been for me, man. And salute back to you, man. Salute back, man. Thanks, Rob. Appreciate that, bro. I see you. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I knew this was coming. Is the A. Trey Hoover interview coming soon? Yes. It'll be next weekend, man. I sat down with the brothers, man, and we had a long talk. A lot of them, I tend to think, since I mentioned that about the 8 O's not being official, that a lot of dudes' feathers were ruffled, and I think they took it the wrong way. Um, what I mean by that, I know what I mean by that, and I explained it to them, and I didn't have a problem explaining what I meant by being official. But that conversation, man, I'm a for the podcast, man. Y'all see it Saturday on the drop, man. I got the ones that started that was a part of that. We're gonna chop it up, man, about that. So I would like to keep that, that card covered. I don't show that one right now. Yeah, accomplishments are blessings. That's the truth. Neil, well, man, Z-Bone, man, tell the truth. And Buds, man, they're my junior high buddies, man, me and Buds. I got stories about Buds. That's my dude, man. Cool homies, man. Loved and missed. Real spit, bro. Like I said, I came up, man, in 77, man. I came up at a time when the community, man, it was strong. It was strong. And I don't mean just Hoover. I mean, just whatever community you went in, it was strong. There were certain standards and principles, dudes exercise and they live by. That shit changed now. You know what I'm saying? I accept that. I accept it for what it is. It's evolution, man. My thing is though, okay, if we evolve, how do we evolve? Do we digress? Do we unevolve, or do we evolve, man? You know what I mean? Do we build this thing up, man, to where our people can be proud of each other and themselves? We're lacking, man, a whole lot, man. We're lacking a whole lot, man. It seems that in society, man, they praise you for being idiots, man, for being ignorant, just showing your ass, man, not giving a damn about nothing, man. And I'm pretty sure even the ones who do that, man, their mamas raised them different. Their daddies, their grandmamas, what I'm saying, they had a hand in raising them. They know better. Me and Lon was talking about the process, even as children, of knowing better. We knew better. Though we did a lot of senseless shit, we knew better, man. And it took, look at Lon, man. Look at this evolution that's taking place with this brother, man. It took us to have to go through some shit to get to this shit, man. To get to the reality of what's in front of us. Life is a cold piece. Trust me, it's a cold piece. And man, people got to see, man, that, we can't diddle daddle with life, man. You only get one. When that shit is up, it's up. You ain't the only one gonna be, hurting. as a result of that, man. You got people that's going to be impacted by your actions, by your demise, your incarceration, man. You just not handling your business and responsibilities. People are going to be impacted by that. Those who close to you the most, they'll feel it. But man, what do I think about out of state Hoovers and the way they grew? Um, we had that conversation, man. I really don't have, you know, just be straight up, man. I don't have an opinion per se about that. You know what I mean? Because I tend to try to stray and stay away from those types of politics. You know what I mean? There is, let's keep it 100, man. There's certain traps and shit, man. You can't get caught up in this shit, man. You can't get caught up in this shit. And this is one of the reasons we don't do the reactionary shit. This is one of the reasons we don't sit up and nitpick, about what somebody said or, what they did or how they doing shit. Hey, like I said, that's their lane. Whatever the homies are doing, wherever they are, man, they're in their lane. I'm here in LA, man, and I love my community, whether it's here or out there. But I got enough sense to know stat bullshit, stat bullshit, Now, them dudes, if they got the script, they got the script. If they don't have the script, man, time to tell. Time to tell, man. Time to tell, man, whether or not they got the script, man. But peace to them brothers, man. And I hope that they don't go through what we went through. You know what I mean? Because see, it's not just Hoovers we talking about out there. There are other sets. You know what I mean? So again, it's impacting everybody, man. So start thinking about that, man. What I think about homies out of state, I think that, man, don't go down the road we went down. That's what I think. That's what I say, man. Get shit together, man. Understand, man, there's a bigger picture. There's a bigger picture than hollering out streets and numbers and shit that ain't paying your bills, man. Ain't putting your kids to school. Then you get hurt, man. You can't go get medical treatment. It's a whole lot of shit attached to this shit. So just be mindful of that, man. If you're gonna do this shit legitimately. I tell my family, I said to them all the time, hey man, this ain't for you. It's not for you. We did this. Don't turn around and do what we did. That it doesn't make sense. Elevate, elevate the game, man. So you can be from the community. Hey man, yeah, I grew up on Hoover. I'm a lawyer though. Hey man, I knew whoop the wham whoop and man going to junior high, but I'm a surgeon. You know, it's different levels to this shit, man, that we haven't even tapped into. We're talking about our community. We're talking about the people in our community. And how we're supposed to serve them. I think that's a big deal, man. It's a big deal. Had I known everything I'm talking about now, man, back then, I probably wouldn't even be doing no podcast. You know what I mean? That's not to say I wouldn't be involved in my community, but come on, man. A lot of heartache, a lot of sorrow, man, a lot of bullshit, a lot of shit, man, wouldn't have occurred. You know what I'm saying? And I knew better, but had I acted appropriately, a lot of shit would have been avoided. But remember J Dog and Dre Dog back when we all used to hang in Mount Carmel. Yeah, I just had that discussion about Mount Carmel, man, yesterday. Yeah, I remember them brothers. I remember them brothers. Man, what happened to Myron from Block? I think his name was Mumu. I don't know exactly who that is, but anyway, it's always somebody trying to stir up drama about the Damus, Hoover, and Crips of other states. Yeah, man, again, you got to understand how this shit work, man. When we're talking about messy shit, I make it a point to stress that we're not with the fallacious or the salacious bullshit, man. Because again, yeah, we're contributing to the bullshit. We're not improving nothing. We've already torn shit down. Dudes are acting the way they're acting because of shit we did. You know what I mean? It's just, it's this cycle. But I think that shouldn't be an equation, man. When we on podcasts and stuff, you know what I'm saying? When we under the groove on podcasts, our agenda is this, man. We're not trying to attack nobody, man. We're not trying to attack nobody. And this is why you don't hear about war stories. That's intentional. That's intentional, man. That harm, man. Come on, man. Ain't nobody want shit. Ain't no side want none of that. All it did was create harm. It destroyed our communities. So we make it a point not to discuss that, man. Brothers out of state, man, whether you Crip, Blood, Hoover, whatever, criminal, whatever, man, need to understand, man, that really all you got, man. People sit back and watch us, knock each other down, man, like bowling pins, man, and they appreciate it. They get paid on it. They eat on it. They eat on it. You got podcasters, man, that bring dudes on for that reason. They eat. That dude that came on, though, his set ain't ate. As a result of that, they ain't getting nothing from it. You know what I mean? So let's be mindful, man, of how we deal with one another, man. We have dealing with each other with respect, man. Man. When we see people, man, nod, man. I see brothers every day, man. I nod. Hey, what's up, bro? Some would be, man, it's all good, bro. How you doing? You know what I mean? But that's what it's come to. We can't speak to each other without it being an issue. I don't give a damn what it is, a Crip, Blood, who, whatever. It's always an issue. It's a problem. We got to get past that, man. So the podcast, that's what it's about, trying to get past, the damage, we done. We're not trying to just forget about it. We like to try to rectify, correct a whole lot of shit that still exists today that we left in our wake. I think that's the mission, man. That's the mission. Something positive, man. Our communities know all we know is negativity. All we know is negativity, man. Where's the positive aspect of this shit? Because I know a lot of you brothers got hearts. You know what I mean? And what I mean by that, you have a soul. You feel a certain way about a whole lot of shit. When you lose a loved one, that's an example of what you feel. You know pain. You know what I mean? At the same time, you brother, man. That's one thing I trip on about brothers and sisters too. Ain't nothing stupid about us. Motherfuckers say, oh, they ignorant. And I'm talking about these dudes, though, that you call them ignorant. Real insightful, man. A lot of them are enlightened, but they don't have platforms. They don't have support, or whatever the case may be, to help nurture that shit, man. Bring that potential to fruition. I think that's part of our job, man. Under the groove. I can't speak about it. But yeah, man, we're here, man. We're here, man. And this is the first of many. The first of many, man. I love the fact that it's going down. Like I said, my wife say, hey, you nervous? No, I ain't nervous. You know what I'm saying? I was nervous when I had to go talk to the parole board. I had like 4 YT people right there, you know what I mean? And professionals, you know what I'm saying? Psychiatrists and shit. And I knew then, man, you better get over whatever you're going through, man, because this right here, this is the conversation. So to me, this is just a conversation, man, I'm used to having, man. I want it to be known that we ain't with no funnies, man. A lot of us are not. We have some that are. And those are the ones we need to go start addressing, start getting at them, man. Start talking to them like men, not as little homies and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because you minimizing individuals who feel like they're big as the world, man. You can't do that. So let's start talking to these young cats, man, and helping ourselves, man, that they can help themselves. It's reciprocal. Everybody gonna benefit, man. I promise you, everybody will benefit. Yeah, man. I know, but it's so cool. Yeah, and a real one. PT is a real one, man. This dude, man, I talked to PT and whoo, like damn, for real, homie. And he go in. When he go in, he going in. Uncut. Hey, man. Hey, I appreciate you being a part of this get down, bro. That's King Groove 713, man. I appreciate you being a part of this get down, bro. In fact, that go for all y'all. Austin, Texas. What's happening, bro? What's happening? I ain't seen you in the comments in a minute, man. How you been? Yeah, we get these lives up, not worried about it. Hey, one thing about that too. I'm gonna keep 100, homie. I don't be tripping like that. I just don't. I don't trip that shit, man. The message is what it is. It's pure. You know what I mean? It's gonna do what it's supposed to do regardless, man. Me trying to hurry up and inflate the numbers and all that with, a lot of shit that's on the internet today, man. That's not I don't want that to work for us. That don't, it ain't working for me. I ain't with that shit. The numbers gonna do what they do, bro. You know what I mean? This thing gonna speak for itself. This is just a year and a half into it. We're not worried about that. You know what I mean? We worried about dudes like you tap in and say, "Hey, man, I appreciate this, man. Let's go. Let's get to." That's what we trying to reach. We reached you, man. We hoping that you reach out to somebody else. Bring them in, all right? But bring them in to get the message. Not just to inflate the numbers, homie. I'm not worried about that shit. Let them dudes do that. You know, Real spit. I work every day, bro. I don't smoke weed all day long. I don't do none of that shit. I go to work, man, every day. Pay a mortgage. You know what I mean? I got bills. You know what I'm saying? I got people I love, people that depend on me. You know what I mean? I'm not worried about this. I don't worry about this. Not until it's time to come and do a show. I want it to be as good as it can be. And speaking of such, I'm working on that. I still get that blowback. Man, shut up. Shut the fuck up. Y'all understand, man, for the most part. Yeah, it's an interview, but these my folks, man. You ever been around a homie or a homegirl and y'all just chopping it? Y'all know how that shit go. That flow is unstoppable because, man, it's this thing, man. It's this energy, this vibe. That's what we be on. That's what I be on. I'm with my people, man. And they ain't, like, again, they don't even have to be from over home. I just have to have a relationship with him. I know that, right, this dude's solid. I'm going to chop it up with him the same way, and I hope he do it with me. What misconceptions do you believe people have about gang members? Oh, man, that's a good one. I think when me and Lon was talking, I interviewed Hoover Lon last week, man. And we had that discussion. I asked him that. I asked that damn near verbatim. What is the misconception about gang bangers? And from what I've read and understand, just talking to other people, not from the environment or the community or that cloth, first thing they say are dysfunctional families. No love, they weren't nurtured, they this, that, and the third. They have an excuse for it, not realizing that's not the truth. It's not the truth, man. We come from families, we come from mothers, mainly grandmothers and fathers who love us, who nurtured us and shit. It's like saying you point a finger at those that we know would give their lives for us, man. You know what I'm saying? It's saying they did a bad job. That's not on them. That's not their burden. Like I said, to this day, I still walk with the lessons and understandings my mom's gave me, my grandma gave me to this day. I'm 60. I'll still open the door for a woman. I know how to greet people properly. You know what I mean? Hey, man, it's just a whole lot of shit. That's a small bit of it. But in terms of, how we think, what I'm saying? Like, oh, they don't care about life, man. Cherish life, especially now. I can speak for me again. I'm not speaking for nobody else. I cherish life. So one of the misconceptions is there was no nurturing in the homes. Most of the homes was dysfunctional. You know what I mean? That type of thing, man. Uh, there was no the rearing of the children. We wasn't reared right and all this stuff, man. And that's not true. Early on, when I started, said we come from communities, man, where there was unity. Think about that, man. There was unity. There was unity, man, in all these communities, man. A lot of us, we got the nurturing we supposed to have gotten. A lot of us disregarded it. That's what the issue was. It wasn't that we were reared wrong or our parents didn't show us the right way. It was just the fact that, okay, whatever was going on in society at that time, politically, financially, whatever the case may have been, we made choices that were against these lessons, these protocols that were handed down to us by our parents, man. That's what it was, you know what I mean? So one of the misconceptions, again, is that we weren't nurtured. We weren't loved, you know what I'm saying? We were reared wrong and, our families didn't care about us, da, 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 da. That's wrong. That's totally wrong, man. Shout out to the other side. Thaddeus and Roy and them, man, for real, bro. For real. I used to live across Vermont on 76 between Vermont and Kansas. Stayed across the street from Lady Red, man, right around the corner from OG Gooch and Shawnee. Down the street from Ice. The Fosters, rest in peace, man. We got a little Ice still around, man. All love, bro. Shout out to you. Yeah, man. Like and subscribe. like and subscribe. Hey man, you got me a Damu from Louisville, Kentucky, hooked on your story, on y'all's history. All right, that's real. Appreciate that, bro. Appreciate that, bro. I say this too about podcasting. Um, and I was telling the homies about this. Man, shit, homies, I don't care where they from. They supposed to be putting their shit up, man, trying to regulate, not regulate, but trying to establish to get in where they people could come on and speak truth to power, man, about what life is, what it's been for them. You know what I mean? I said, shit, every set should have a podcast. It ain't hurting me. Why not? Every set should have a podcast that is geared towards those individuals in that community coming on that podcast and spitting what their life is about. Now, you set the parameters of the podcast. You know what I'm saying? I'm not dictating nothing to nobody, man. Our parameters are we don't do disrespect on Under the Groove. We just don't do it. And I've had some way out comments, man. Uh, you know, let it go. Let it go, man. It don't make no sense, man. So, but however y'all set those parameters, I suggest you set them in such a way to where it benefits your community. You know what I mean? It benefits your community, because really it's just a forum for open dialogue. And once you get dialogue circulating, man, you can get to the point where you could bring like minds together, man. And then you could bring about some change. Now you got people working together, change a situation, man, that we all know need to be changed. Ain't no mystery about that. No mystery about that. Oh, so I forgot to say I've been visiting families more, and I called C19 two times this month alone. Well, whoa, COVID-19. Hey, man, that shit's still going around too, bro. That's crazy you said that, man. They got people thinking COVID ain't here no more. That shit is in full effect. It just ain't what it was the first time. I had some shit about 2 weeks ago. It was in my nasal patch. I couldn't get rid of that shit for nothing. For shit. Georgia in the house. I love the channel because you always have positive energy. Keep up the great work. Appreciate you being here, Mr. Coleman. Korea Coleman. Appreciate you being here, man. Real spit, man. And I don't mean that, man, because I don't know if man or woman, but we appreciate your presence in the Get Out. Again, that's one of our objectives, man. Is to always be positive, in spite of, man. We in a sea of negativity, bro. We know this. We know this. And I'm gonna say this, I'm not gonna go long on it. There's negativity, you know, in the circle. You know what I mean? But hey, man, it is what it is. What I'm supposed to do? What I'm supposed to do? Motherfucker, he ain't your kid, and I ain't doing no running. But I'm gonna stand my ground on positivity. You know what I mean? I'm telling you, because it's service, man. It is service. Got a lot of homies love what I'm doing, man. I'm to the point now where I love what I'm doing. There was a time where a couple of instances, actually, I almost gave it up because I kind of thought that my efforts weren't appreciated. That was one instance. And the wife was on my neck about that. Don't you start nothing and just, boy, what's wrong with you? I'm like, all right, yeah, you're right, you're right. The other instance was it happened recently, about maybe a month and a half, 2 months ago. Somebody broke into the studio. It stole all the equipment, stole everything, man. And I'm like, damn, man. Damn. I mean, Williams was out of my cells, man. Honestly, man, I was just drifting, man, and on mind fog, man. I was like, damn, man, fuck this shit, man. It ain't worth it. It ain't worth it. But again, I think about a whole lot of shit, man, about the community. I think about what's being said in the community, what's being done, who's who, and how are they trying to help the situation. I think, me just bringing homies on to get down, man, I think that's positive. It brings back memories. And I'm telling you, in the face of a whole lot of wrong, a whole lot of bad that happened, there are a lot of us we have memories, man, that make us smile when we think about certain individuals. We remember a time, man, where that joke was it was gut wrenching. You know what I mean? Where we shared some shit, man, because everybody didn't have it. You know what I mean? We remember things like that, and this is why I still do what I do. I love the fact that family is community. I was just telling my brother that family is community. Frog, Bear, Bubble, Scooby, Crook, Shady, Slim. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Them the homies, man. Every one of them. 79. Yeah, you lived on my grandmother's street. 79. Well, she lived on 79 between Hoover and Fig. But we also stayed on 79 between Hoover and Vermont. And we lived on damn near every street in the 70s. From 80th on back, we lived on damn near every street, and the homies will attest to that. We did a lot of moving. All right, I see you, man. You going okay, that's what I'm gonna do. PTHV, Bug, can you get the people who want to know, who want to have the proper understanding about criminal Crips and gangster Crips? Are they the same? All right, I'm gonna put it to you like this, bro, and you deal with it how you see fit. They hoovers, man. They hoovers. That's all I can tell you, man. They are hoovers. Be they a Hoover Crip, a Hoover gangster Crip, or Hoover criminal. They're hoovers. That's it. You know, that's it. And we would like to rather have them understand, you know, what their real responsibility is as a Hoover on Hoover. You know what I mean? And it ain't the bullshit worrying about whether this is Crip, gangster Crip, or criminal. Actually, whether or not it's Hoover. You know, it's about, hey man, you understand your worth, man. Who are you? You got to be more than that. So, you know, that's you, man. That's how I'm gonna lead that, bro. That's how I'm gonna lead that, bro. I like to see an interview and a reconnect with the homies from Main Street Mafia. Hope the brothers can forgive and forget, increase the peace. Solid shit right there. Solid shit. The crazy part about a lot of this shit, and I say this all the time, is that man, we all know each other. We all know each other, man. Some of us know they mamas, know our mamas. Elementary school, junior high school, man. Man, just share the honey bun together, some soda, pack of now laters. You know what I mean? We all know each other, man. So yeah, I think it would behoove all of us, man, to, hey man, wait a minute. You know, let's start by saying, okay, you know what? Hey, enough's enough. Okay, you stay in your section, I'll stay in mine, man, until we get to the point where we just, hey, man, how you doing? I'm good, man. How you doing? Da 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 da. But you know, the other shit that's going on, man, and not just, you know, the main streets, the East Coasts, the neighborhoods, you know what I mean? That whole car, man, you know, all that shit, man. All that shit need to be dissolved, man. Cause we in a time, man, where I'm telling you, that shit don't serve us. It don't serve us because here's the reality. Don't none of us own nothing on none of them on none of them streets, bro. Ain't nobody got 2, 3 duplexes on there, 2 apartments, 4 houses, 5, a business on the main thoroughfare, nothing. Nothing. Real spit, man. Most of our money going, you know, funeral homes and shit. Dudes in prison. You know. Come on, man. Yeah, so it would behoove us, man, to move on. It would. East Oakland checking in. Bay, man, Oakland. One bud, one of the realest, sincerest brothers I ever met. Support his channel. Much love, EP. Hey, my boy. I got to holler at Reg, too. And Finney. Hey, Finn, I love you, man. Quit acting like that. Yeah, man. That's my boy EP, man. Bay Area brother. You know. Oh my God. Look, man. Again, man, when I decided to do this, I wanted to do it in such a way to where, okay, it's new to me, but I didn't want to do it and I didn't want to do it and make like what I'm doing, man, is just, you know, way above me. You know what I mean? I felt like I said, man, this is something that I do on a norm, man. I can have a conversation with anybody about anything. You know what I mean? So I didn't see this as a challenge to where, you know, okay, man, it's gonna make or break me now. I felt pretty confident that, man, our support, our subscribers, man, even those who don't subscribe, man, appreciate the content we drop. Like I said, a lot of y'all don't because y'all want the fallacious and the salacious get down. We're not doing that. You know, I'm not going, you know, I got a guy in here right now, keep, you know, hey man, what about this one? Come on, homie. I'm not gonna do that, homie. I appreciate though that you in the comments. I appreciate that you watch the content. So appreciate, man, that I'm gonna give it to you how I'm gonna give it to you. But it ain't gonna be wicked, it ain't gonna be sideways. You know, sometimes I just might not say shit. Leave it alone, you know, because it's no point. You know what I mean? But yeah. Hey man. we want to do this thing, man, as much as possible, man. And we want, when we do it, we want to bring to the table, man, something that you guys can lead with. Like I say, the stories, man, I think are jewels. You know, these dudes get into line just was on the get down, man. And I'm willing to wager most cats didn't expect that conversation from Lon. Most that know him, most that been around him, you know, did not expect that conversation. Did not expect him to bring to the table this a sense of identity now. You know what I mean? A sense of knowing who he is. You know what I mean? Or an individual accepting his faults, man, and wanting to change the situation, wanting to atone for the damage he created, put out in society. So you know, this is what this is about, bro. It ain't about nothing else. I don't care about it's Hoover criminals this or it's Hoover criminals. Yeah, man, yeah, okay, whatever. They don't serve no purpose. Don't serve no purpose, homie. Just tell the truth. You know, they Hoovers. That's it. You know, you want to talk about understanding. This cat, he gonna go all day, and I'm gonna let him go. So I'm gonna disregard that. So I had I had some stuff, I want to hit y'all with, man, and I thought it was pretty cool, But first, I want to impart this to you. I got to borrow this today. The hardest battle is between what you feel and what you think, man. Chew on that. The hardest battle is between what you feel and what you think. That's some real stuff. That's some real stuff, man. Um, as far as again, man, the podcast, there've been some challenges and shit, but I think that's par for the course. You know what I mean? You're not gonna ever go into anything in life, man, where it's gonna be peachy. You know what I mean? It's just gonna be smooth selling. You know what I mean? Ain't gonna be no grooves in that thing, man. That's not real life, bro. So yeah, during the tenure of this podcast, I didn't, there's been some challenges, you know what I mean? And it had me, like I said a little while ago, it had me, contemplating like, damn, man, do I really want to go through this shit? You know, a lot of, I don't think, I thought that it wasn't no appreciation. And it's not, you know what I mean? And I know that for a fact, but then again, there is, you know what I mean? So that's what keeping me going. The fact that there's appreciation for the stories we tell, you know, for there's appreciation for not getting on here and talking about who we shot or who shot us. There's appreciation, man, for dudes coming on here, man, and you don't see them getting up fist fighting and just this, that, and the third, and name dropping on dudes they got, animosity with or for, you know what I mean? So there's appreciation for it, and this is why I still do what I do. Um, Again, so let's move on to some content, man. I want to drop y'all with, man. Drop on y'all. The 80 Hoovers will be on the get down, man. And I have a surprise, man. I'm gonna go one further. I have some home queens, man. And they caught me at a party last week, basically surrounding me, cornering me. Say, man, why you ain't about the homegirls? What's happening? You tripping? I was like, what's happening? Like, yeah, well, shit, man. We watched that shit, man. We want to be on there. I say, okay, a lot of y'all working women and people want to protect, what I'm saying, that check, what I'm saying, your livelihood. I get it. Like, yeah, no. We see what you do. It ain't about it. We ain't worried about it. We know your get down, your groove is straight. It ain't with no bullshit. I said, okay, when y'all coming? So they'll be here soon. All right, let me put it to you like that. They'll be pulling up real soon, man. And some good content. I'm telling you what I know, because this is coming from a different perspective. Women and men, we're different. You know what I mean? We deal with shit differently. We see shit differently. You know what I mean? Um, it's just the difference. You know what I mean? In terms of how we carry ourselves. So to have them on the get down, man, I'm telling you, it's gonna be gold. It's gonna be gold to have them in here, man. Uh, how would a lot of you, this is something that got me too, because I know, man, I be talking like a motherfucker. I be cutting dudes off, man. It don't be intentional. It just be like, cause I'm always in the moment when I'm with my loved ones. Um, my interviewing style, I'm telling you, I'm working on it. I've been working on it. Sometimes, I'd be like, damn, man, I'd be biting my tongue, but it'd be like, I gotta say that, I gotta say it, but I'm getting better, man. I'm getting better to the point where, yeah, just shut the fuck. I tell myself, shut the fuck up, bub. Let him finish the sentence. Don't finish the sentence for him. That type of shit. But my interviewing style, man, I promise you guys, it will be by summertime so polished, and it need to be because we have a couple of more platforms in, they're not in the making. They already exist. I just haven't exposed them to the public yet. Um, and these platforms, man, they're all inclusive, all inclusive. Um, it's not gonna matter where you're from. It's not gonna matter where you're from. You won't be under that banner. You know what I mean? You'll be under a different banner, man. It'll speak to whatever the topical issue, that platform is. I'm about to open that up, man. I got a lot of cats, man, a lot of brothers, loved ones from different sets all over, man. Shout out, man. My boy Kilowatt, man. Much love, Lil Spike, ETG. Kilowatt from Harlem. That's my boy, man. Dan Tanner, ICGA, man. Y'all know what's happening, man. Rob Dog. I got a lot of cats, man. I've messed with. And Kev Mack. I'm telling you, I think he's a smooth brother, man. He's a smooth brother. And we talk, we don't talk as often as we would like to, but we talk. So look, man, this thing, man, is gonna do what it's supposed to do. The support of the people, though, is what's gonna propel this thing to, that point where, again, we're not tripping on recognition in terms of numbers, but we want to get it out to the people. We want to get the people involved, man. So when we are talking, people can relate. We want people to relate, man. And I'm telling you, it's a whole lot we can relate to other than that BS. I think I said that about 3 times. So I'm start talking about that. Hoover's legendary is a legendary set unlike any other. Joe's Hoover's evolved in the crims from delay crim up and above. It needs to go. It needs to go. Remember, Raymond Washington started Crips among Brims, outlaws, etc. Joe amongst C. All right, that was Neil, man. What was Crippin' like back when all the Crips was cool with each other? Fucking festival, man. You know, hey man, house parties and shit. Shit was cool. It was cool. Everybody respected everybody's section. It was one of them things. Like I said, dudes used to hang out with dudes, man. This is a fact. Dudes hung out, with dudes, man. It was just what it was, you know what I mean? We have, we got dudes from all sections, that got love and children by the homegirls. Same here. We got children and shit and love certain homegirls from other sections. That's how it was. We mingled, man. We rubbed elbows. We drank beer together, smoked weed, son, smoked loot. You know what I mean? But that's what it was, man. It was a fraternity, for real. It was a real fraternity, man. You know, that's what I remember, man. I remember the camaraderie. I remember no matter what school, I remember I checked into Charles Drew. I get kicked out of John Muir. I get transferred to Charles Drew. Boom, the kitchens was there, man. You know what I mean? Embrace the brother, man. Damoos was there. Embrace the brother. I went there with a couple of my homegirls and homeboys, rest in peace, Cass. You know what I mean? Lem Deuce. We was up there together, man. We was at that thing, man. You know what I'm saying? But it was love. I never had an issue up there. Ever. You know? And I'm saying not just with Crips, but as far as the C Nation, man, it was a lot of love, man, at one point in time. I dare to say there's still a lot of love amongst certain sectors and sections and shit. You know what I'm saying? That's a reality. That's a fact, man. Um, my boy, what's happening, bro? Mr. Jordan, man made Hoover. Hoover didn't make a man. And we have to teach our community that there are different levels to our elevation. We basically limit ourselves when we stay on way and doing things. When we stay one way and doing things. I got you, bro. I got you. And that's what I was trying to impart to the people too, man. It's us. It's not the section you from, man. It's the people in the section, man, that's gonna make the section what it is. You know what I'm saying? So we can make it one way or another. We can make it positive, we can make it negative, but the choice is the individuals that make up this collective, man, this community. You know, I say, man, I'm like my bro right here, man. Hoover didn't make me, man. You know what I mean? Hoover did not make me. That's a street, man. It's just concept. I was forged, man. In the fire, running through hell with motherfuckers, with individuals. You know what I mean? Individuals, man, had a lot to do with, my upbringing and, the things I got involved in, the mindset that formulated as I grew older. You know what I mean? I mean, even to the point where my mindset is different now. I'm still evolving. I was telling somebody, a lot of dudes want to be teachers. I think that's a problem. Everybody want to teach, but forget that you're gonna learn to the day you die. To the day we die, we're gonna be learning. You know what I mean? So don't be in a hurry to stop learning. To stop learning, man, how not just to survive and exist, but how to be men. I think that's important. You know, I think that's very important. But yeah, hey man, I see you, Kwawe. Much love, bro. Yeah, man. My boy Woodrow. Woodrow, what it do, love one? Man, how you been, bro? Huh? Boy, I'm talking about I've been hollering, bro, but you have blessed one. Man, look, you better tap back in, bro. Hey, where you been, man? I love you, man. Another cat, man. Just man, we still here, bro. Love you, homie. Man. Someone said, Bub, your interview style has greatly improved since episode 1. Keep elevating, bro. Y'all the reason for that. Y'all the reason for that. Shit. Yeah, that's it right here. Y'all the reason for that, man. Going in the comments was on my neck. I'm like, damn, man, am I that bad? Am I that bad? Shit. I'm on it, man. I appreciate the constructive criticism, though. Always, man. I've always appreciated criticism when it's constructive. I one thing about me, man, and I try to, you know, express this as often as possible. I don't be in my feelings on me. I don't do that. I tend to think as a man. You know what I mean? And even when I'm wrong and I realize it, I'm like, damn, I fucked up. Let me call this individual. Let me say, man, my bad. I fucked up. I apologize. You know what I mean? So I tend to think like a man. I don't get my feelings, man, about nothing, man. 'Cause that ain't gonna, you know, it don't change shit, man. It don't change shit. What it does though, it stifles your ability to think straight when you're in your feelings. So I try to use my head. That's not to say, yeah, a couple times I lost it because let my feelings control me. You know, but for the most part, nah, nah. You know, I stay out of my feelings, man. You in Texas, bro? Damn, man. When you coming through, man? When you coming through, we gonna have to hang out, bro. We gonna have to hang out, bro. Real spit. It's one of the homeboys right there, man. Light up that orange sun. Screaming Hoover number one. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, this is beautiful, man. I appreciate this, man. Um, I was saying too, again, when talking about the podcast, man, I be my I think my responsibility where this thing goes is to make sure that people can come on here and not feel or not think a certain way, man. You know what I mean? I've told homies, hey man, when you come on to get down, don't do that. Don't whack this, don't whack that. Leave that shit out of that, bro. Learn to express yourself without that. You know what I mean? It's doable. We can do this. So I make it a point, man, to just make sure when we're on here, man, we see we giving you guys what we know we should have coming. Just respect, homie. Just respect. And that's me. Any individual I mess with, man, they ain't gotta like me. They ain't gotta like me. But hey, man, just respect, bro. Respect, and we good. We good every time. You can be you. Like I said, man. Hey, I'll meet you where you at, man. I'll meet you where you at, man. You know. I think that's something that should be imparted to everybody, man. We should come to understand that we are really the captains of these ships. You know, we navigating these seas, man. A lot of us ain't got a compass, man. Don't have a moral compass. Don't have a compass whatsoever, man. And that's what leads to a lot of this BS. You know, it's a matter of respect, man. For self first, first. You can't respect no other man if you're not respecting yourself. That's my take on that. If I don't respect me, there's nowhere in the world I can respect my wife. I can respect my brother. I can respect this guy I'm calling my homeboy, my loved one. So I think that that is something that we need to practice a little more. Practice respect, man, for self first. Start with yourself first, you know. And I'm telling you, this shit gonna go a long way. Like I say, I'm a testament to the fact that self-respect. Lon was saying it about the homie from East Coast, La. La from East Coast told Lon, hey man, if you don't love yourself, nobody gonna love you, man. Your life is not gonna improve. You're not gonna be this guy you need to be. You're gonna be right where you at. Learn to love yourself. The homie told me, the La told me, I was like, what? Man, that's priceless, homie. It's priceless. One of the problems we have is that we're not loving ourselves. I mean, you see the shit every day. You can go on any one of them get downs, you got to name them, and just listen to that shit, man. Listen to that shit. That shit reckless, man. It's reckless, man. It lacks, it's devoid of respect, man, for self first. Anyway. So yeah, man, love self first, man. You can't love me if you don't love you. I'm not gonna mess with you because I'm gonna be able to see that off the rip. Oh man, you love yourself. The shit you doing, man. I'm gonna cut wide, man. My boy Woody, man, up in Texas, man. All right, posted over. Okay, I got Boss Claus right here. He's asking the question. I think I missed it, Claus. Let me see. Boom. I'm gonna start here though. What I mean is that once you found your groove with it, you elevate it to another level. It's been great to see. Yeah. So you talking about my interviewing style and how I'm coming along, bro. And I still got work to do, but I appreciate that, man. I salute you for that, bro. I'm working on it. I promise you, because I would like for all you guys understand that, you know what I'm saying, what I want to bring to the table. I want, every time I bring something to the table, I want it to improve. I want you guys is okay, that thumbs up, you know what I mean? Like, hey man, yeah, okay, I can do him because he's working on himself, he's working on the pie, he's doing what he need to do. I need you guys to help me to understand, you recognize when I'm right and when I'm wrong, when I'm on point and when I'm not. So that's again, man. I appreciate you guys, to levels, man, you don't even understand. It's because a whole lot of you, especially my community, that I'm still here doing this. You know what I'm saying? Because no matter what they tell you, man, this shit don't pay nothing, homie. It don't pay shit. It don't pay shit. It don't pay shit. If you're not fucking with, excuse my French though, people. If you're not doing numbers, nah, you got to be doing this because you like it, because you enjoy what you're doing. I enjoy doing this, man. You know, I enjoy doing this. Now, at the end of it or in between, whatever, man, if that happened to happen, hey, hell yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I could pay off one mortgage on another house, you know what I'm saying? Hey, we good, you know what I mean? Not only that, but then I can go to the community and say, man, here's a project. Here's some funds for a project that's gonna benefit us all, man. Who in? You know, you know, I love myself enough to know that I love mine, man. I love those where I come from, man. I'll do for you like I do for me. You know, man. I love you too, Woody. Man, you already know. I know you missed the set, bro. Man. Okay, so Neil said, "Hey, Bub, TS said he never met a Hoover Groover in his life." Hey, that's a good one. Him, Hola Ray, TC, yeah, they was at the G's over here, man. In one of our first videos. But anyway, he said, "Hey, Bub, TS said he never met a Hoover Groover in his life. What did he mean by that? Was Hoover Groover?" So my understanding, and the guys are before my time. Let's get that straight first. And I'm not in no way trying to speak for either one of them do. But from their mouth to my ear, they were hustlers. They were hustler type dudes. I mean, that's the kind of cats they was. Whether or not they were car club cats, nothing or anything like that, I don't know. But from what I was told, TS, TC, um, Holy Ray, Hoover Joe, they didn't know any Hoover Groovers, and Hoover didn't come from Hoover Groovers. They had now I need to go back because you know what there was something said, and I'm not trying to bust homie balls, and PTH, because I get what he do. He want answers to questions. I get it. He said something. He made a statement, like, well, it's in here. He said, "Hey man, if you don't teach them, how do they know?" And he's talking about the younger generation. But I think he speak more to this criminal, element. But the point is, if you don't teach, individuals coming up behind us, even those that's on the level, same playing field with us, then how would they know? He has a point. I was watching, and this was relating to the Hoover Groover question. I was watching this thing about a month ago. This white guy, podcaster, came into Manchester Park, Tommy G. And I said, "Oh, this the new Adam 22, Adam 12 dude." That's how I took that, because the hits were just astronomical. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, okay, here go, in Lumbo, Adam 12 going through whatever he's going through. He said to the young ones, our loved ones, our young ones in our community, y'all come from Hoover Groovers. And I'm watching this shit. I'm like, damn, man. And I went in, man. I just say, man, you don't even know what you're talking about, but you disseminate that shit to, these years, man, that just take, nowadays anything in and they run with it. Homies, little did they know, because if them did, they would shut him down. They got on him about, saying, HK and all this shit, man. But they didn't say, hey, man, we know our homie. We come from no dude ran with that shit. I looked at that podcast, man, the next day, I think it was, maybe 2 days later, that motherfucker had over 500,000 hits. And I'm like, damn, just on some bullshit. He ain't even spitting real shit. So I get what PV is saying, man, PTHV. Yeah, we have to lace them. There is a need for educating, our people, our communities. I don't disagree with you, bro. But I think that what you want to educate them on and what I'm talking about educating them on are two different things. Most of them young cats, man, they know, man. They know the criminal thing. They know, you know what I'm saying? But most of them don't know. Most of them don't know that it come from Hoover groups. And that's sad. Yeah. You repping something, you don't know what you repping. You let somebody from outside come and say, this is what that's not cool. So I agree with him to the point where, yeah, man, education, I think, is key. Education is something that, need to be dispensed, man, in the community. I don't disagree with you on that, bro. But what are we going to educate them with? Why are we educating them about certain things? I think that's the debate. That's the debate. Okay. Mr. Mayweather, thank you, man, for giving homage, paying homage to the podcast, the platform, bro. We appreciate you. Salute. Platform under the groove. Thank you, brother. Yeah, what do you mean? Okay, so this one comes from 83716. Uh-huh. Yo, OG Bub, have you got in contact with any of the A-Trade Hoovers to have them on the podcast? Of course. Of course. I can say this, man. I just had Baldy with us, Yella. We were all at the studio last week, man. We were doing an interview with a couple of homies, and they were present, man. And you'll see them, and those videos be dropping tomorrow. But yeah, I've had discussions with them, and I understand some of the homies' perspective on it, and I appreciate the perspective of other homies. You know what I'm saying about the podcast. What a lot of people don't understand about the set, and when it comes to homies. And I respect it because I know to get out. I understand the script, the code. A lot of people just don't do it. Even when you tell them, wait a minute, homie, I wouldn't let you come and say Jack that could incriminate you, you know what I'm saying, or put me in the trick bag. You know what I'm saying? I don't do that to my dang self. You know what I mean? You know, I don't let nobody come do that shit. You know, I edit so much shit, it's crazy, you know. But before we start say, man, A, B, and C can't do it. And in the course of the conversation, cats get to talking. They're just talking though, you know. Like, damn, bro. You know, so I edit the shit. But what I'm saying that to say, this is the reason a lot of homies don't want to come on. You know, I think that one, again, it's a certain protocol, certain code, you know, they're gonna stick to. You can't you can't have issue with that. You have to respect that. You know what I mean? You have to respect that they, you know, that's not something they want to do, you know. Even when I tell them, hey man, here's how to get out and go. Here's how to get out and go. And to get out is based on 4 pillars. You know what I mean? Your Hoover story, a cautionary tale that you can pass along to these young ones coming up, man. How you've atoned or have you atoned for the life your life you lived in the past, and who's the real enemy. You know, we don't talk about bang bang shoot 'em up shit. That's just unacceptable. You know, so yeah, I talked to the trades and we good. You know, it'll be a surprise. You know, I'm pleased that my generation, the generation I'm from, you know, what I'm saying, I have some support there, so I appreciate that. You know, we gonna make our rounds, bro. Trust me, trust me. It's right. What it do, Hoover? Thank you, bro. Thank you, bro. Hey, man. Someone Neil said if a groove is alive, please contact Bub. So I talked to. This is no bullshit. I talked to a brother was a Hoover Groove. We had a long conversation. In fact, I talked to him because he come into the comments and he like a long spiel about the get down. I had to go in my comments. This was a this comment was from a video a year ago when I first got started when the homies was talking about that, you know, that issue or that that concern, whether or not Hoover Groove was started Hoovers. The brother got at me I'm gonna find the comment. I'll find a comment and I'll repost it. I'm not gonna try to speak to it, you know, verbatim, you know, twist some shit up he said. I'm not gonna do that. But yeah, the brother is in the comments. You just have to go and look at an old video where I had TS, PT, TC, and Holy Ray on the podcast, and we're talking about the Hoover Groover issue. But the brother said, yeah, and he give his name, you know, his street name and shit. You know, he talked about it. He said, nah, ain't had nothing to do with Hoover Crips, period. You know, do I got his number? I can't recall. I got to go and look at this thing, man. Look at my DNC. What's up with that number? I would love to talk to brother. Tell you the truth, I'd love to have him on the platform just to give us some insight in terms of who they were, you know, and what they were about, you know, whether or not they had any to do with Hoover Joe and the rest of his cohorts, his loved ones, his bros, forming or, you know, bringing into existence the Hoover Crips. That would be a good conversation. I agree with you on that. All right, bro. All right. I see you. I hear you too. All right, hey, bud, what's your knowledge of Hoover family blood down in the 20s? So when I first started going to camp, no lie, I knew some Hoover family blood dudes. We was all in camp. We was in Camp Page, Camp Rocky, you know what I mean? Yeah, we was scrapping though. We, you know, we get down, man. But I learned, you know, these dudes at the time, we was cool. We was cool. And they was from um was it 20s? It was Hoover family. They were Hoover family bloods, man. You know what I mean? Real shit. You know, I'm not gonna even, you know, play with that one, man. I do recall that. I do recall meeting a couple of them. And this was in early 80s, 80, 1980. You know, so you know, that is what it is, bro. You know, that is what it is. I mean, here's the thing though. And when we talk about Hoover, you a lot of people have to understand that Hoover has a story past. It's legendary. It's actually legendary, man. I don't give nobody it's legendary. From down wherever far go, man, up the Wilshire, Queens, all the way to Gardena. Hoover, man, Hoover Street, man, been around. A lot of people come from there, you know what I mean? A lot been done on there. You know, come on, man. Ain't nothing, half-ass about, Hoover Street. You mean a whole lot of good people, man, come off Hoover Street, man. Lost a lot of good people on Hoover Street, So it has a history, y'all. It has a history. It has a history, and let's be honest, it has a history before the Hoover Crips. You know what I mean? Just the street by itself. One of the most iconic spots I recall about Hoover Street was the Hoover Street Gym. Muhammad Ali, all them been there. You know what I mean? When we get word they there, everybody, rush up to, Hoover Street Gym to get a glimpse of Muhammad Ali and, who rest, to come up in there, man, Spinks and all them. That, not only that, but they used to let us go in there, get in the ring, get in the ring. Hey man, put these gloves on, go on, dude. But that was one of our spots, man. In terms of a landmark, put it like that. A landmark, man. There's probably many more spots, man. There are people, some of which I think are still around, man. That's been there forever, man. And to a lot of people, they're legendary. You know what I mean? He wasn't even Hoovers. You know what I'm saying? Just people in the community. So yeah, you know. Um, fake face. Yeah, fig faces. I don't know, man. Again, when we're talking about, what he said, fig faces is written in the comments. Was it tension between ETH and ETG over the name like Halls and Broadway? You know, I don't know, man. I'm not going to speak to that. That's not something I would even, you know, I don't know about that, bro. It's not something I'm gonna speak on. I don't know. Camp Nine, Camp Glen Rocky, man, them is the old camps, man. Them's old camps. Oh my God. Hey, look, man, this is a good one. Interview one, bud. I would like to interview one. I think you're talking about a Hoover Groover. That'd be nice, bro. Mighty H, thank you for addressing that, big bro. You're welcome, bro. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Woody, tell the truth. Will Smith did the movie in the Hoover Street Gym, the Ali movie. Real spit, bro. Yeah, man. And right quick, man. Now I'm gonna cut out, but before I do, I want to say this, man. In all sincerity, man. We want to give our condolences, man, to Baby Jap's family, man, to his son, man. All those who loved and cherished him, man. It was a good homie. We love him. We loved him, man. And same thing for little Jack Rabbit, man. We loved him, man. All our homies, man, that have passed away, man, in some form of fashion, man, they are missed. They have left a void, man, in a lot of loved ones' hearts and minds, man. And we just hope for the best for their family, man. We hope that this is something, that they can overcome, they can get over, man. Um, yeah, it got to be a hurtful thing, man. To lose a loved one, man. So we send our condolences to those families, man. And rest in peace, loved ones. That's the Baby Jap, man, and little Jack Rabbit, man. We love you guys, man. Hey, one love, bro. That being said, man, I think, damn, y'all still going. Y'all still going. That shit's cool. I'm from man. Yeah, I can't wait to do it again. I need to know. I want to ask a question. Should I do this live thing twice a week or once a week? I think the more I do, the better I get. And that. But give me guys on that, man. What do you guys think about that? Should I do 2 live shows per week or not? I don't know. Um, and man, look, I want to say this to the people, man. And when I say the people, I mean I'm talking everybody. I'm talking everybody. I'm not trying to separate nobody from nothing. People are people. Man, love yourself, man. Love yourself. You know, love yourself, man. Get over that which affects you, man, that's keeping you from embracing you who you are, the man and woman who you are, man. Love yourself, man. Be a better person to yourself. All right. And once you love yourself, those around you gonna know the love, man. You're gonna get to them freely. Be passes handed out everywhere, man. So on that note, man, I love you guys, man. Straight up. I love you, man. I love my homies, you know, even those that don't think I do, I love them. You know, you guys take care of one another, man. Take care of yourself. Take care of one another, man. You have, you are, and you will be under the groove, man. Like, share, subscribe, people. One love. I'll see you guys in a few days, I hope. Take care.